don't feel the need to wait any longer than that. Sorry, a little bit late getting in. A few things as we get started. First of all, I had no plan of making a video tonight, and people who... Okay, how about now? Are we good? Is connection good? Can people see me? Can people hear me? Are we good? Are we present? Is everything fixed? Hopefully it is. We'll find out in a moment. I think we'll still have jumping video, but I'm waiting for people to... I'm going to start as though it's all working now, because it's supposed to be working now. I wasn't planning on making any kind of video. I certainly wasn't planning on coming back. I'm actually gone right now on medical leave. I'm handling medical stuff. This won't be a very long video because I also don't feel particularly well tonight. However, there are times when certain things happen that you feel like you should say something, especially like trying to be on the right side of history against an opposition, and sometimes trying to be on the right side of history with your own person and or on your own side. Though as a dirty leftist, I'm not sure I call the Democrats my side, but they're the closest I have. And that was definitely, well, I shouldn't say that was who I'm going to vote for. It still is. My mind isn't swayed on who would be a bigger disaster for the U.S. based on that debate. But for those on the off chance somebody doesn't even know why we're here, Biden and Trump had a debate tonight, and I went in it thinking it would probably mostly be boring, that basically the two of them, having seen the energy of Biden at the State of the Union, that he would be able to do that again, just do the State of the Union energy again. And then it would basically end the night with two sides both arguing that their side won. That was the easy prediction for tonight, that essentially we already kind of know what happens in this scenario, and that would be the best that we would see. Am I still live? Because now I'm getting some kind of error. Let me just refresh that and just, oh no, I don't want my own audio playing back at me. Okay, that's fine. It looks like I'm still good. I thought that was the easy, that it would be sort of, so yeah, somebody is in chat said, please be clickbait. It's not. Legitimately, it's not clickbait. That debate sucked. And anybody who is concerned about this country, anybody who is concerned about a fascist threat to this country, the potential authoritarian orange demagogue winning again, could probably go away from this going, Biden just lost the election. And I will tell you this, before the debate happened, I already thought Trump was probably going to be winning. While you cannot just trust polling universally, there are some that you can actually trust, and some of the ones in local state showing how local state is doing, but especially demographic polling and enthusiasm polling. Those two, when you go back and you look at other elections and how those pollings went, there's actually a lot you can read out of that. And those were already starting to look bad for Biden and look good for Trump. And I already have said multiple times in the last few months, if the election was held today, unfortunately, I think Trump would win. And that's a disaster. The performance of Biden tonight was the biggest dog shit performance that even his own side is agreeing that it was bad. I don't know if you all know who Van Jones is, but right now he's on CNN. He was a czar under, I think he was the climate czar maybe under Obama. He is, I don't like the word simp very much, but he is a Joe Biden simp. And even he floated tonight this concept of, if he would let us, we could explore some alternatives by the convention in August. Joe Biden came off not just old, because I have even said age shouldn't be the consideration. Age, there are some defenses of age, like if you're toward the end of your life and these policies don't affect you as much, you might have feel different. But obviously I liked Bernie, so at one point I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. However, when age appears to be taking its toll, as it will for everyone, when age-related disease seems to be, and listen, that might not even be what happened tonight. It might just be that Joe Biden had a cold, which is what people around him are trying to float after, instead of warning everybody ahead of time, hey, just so everyone knows, Here's the video of Biden right now here's video of Biden from the State of the Union. But now that everyone's seen it, you should know he's had a cold all week. But we're learning that after the debate. He's had a cold all week. And look, that kind of seems true. But he came out hoarse. He came out seeming confused. He came out failing to fact check Trump on so many occasions, on so many things. And everything he just said was a lie. Except for that sounded like young, vibrant Biden. It was, everything he said, let me whisper it to you. Let me whisper. Everything he just said it was horrible. It was a horrible debate performance. And here is the problem. When it comes to a debate, and I've said this many times, and I'm a person who debates for a living. I run a debate channel, a network of debaters for a living. The facts aren't what wins debates unless it has a chance if both people are within a certain level of, I'm not saying they have to be equally yoked, I think is the biblical phrase. They don't have to be equally charismatic necessarily, but they have to meet a certain basic level. And if you don't meet that, the person who seems miles ahead in energy and charisma and quickness they will be perceived as the smarter one, the one with the more facts, the one with the more confidence. If it was such a lie, why would he say that next to Biden, who could just fact check him on the spot and then didn't? It was a really bad performance. And anybody who tells you, no. But he was right. The facts, the people who right now, there are two reasons to have a debate right now. One, to win over undecided voters, and two, to inspire unenthusiastic voters to vote. Most undecided voters are idiots. They are dumb people. So if you think you need to appeal to them with facts and a raspy voice, and by the way, he did this face almost the whole time. He did the Tucker Carlson face. That I just realized as I was saying it, that's the Tucker Carlson face. If we make fun of Tucker Carlson, we have to be equal for that face. We have to admit that it looks stupid too. He looked shocked at everything. I've never been on a stage with a man who would say such ridiculous things. I'm horrified. I'm not prepared. That's what it gave off. That's the face it gave off as Trump is up there saying the only fact checking that was happening was occasionally the mods would this or you would see like trying a pre-attempt at a fact check, like, this number went up when you were president and down under Biden. How do you account for that? And then Trump would just come in. No, we did very well with that number, better than anybody has ever seen with that number. That number was so good that it changed all other numbers across the unrelated numbers, and everything was great and it was wonderful under us. And then they'd be like, the question was, and repeat it, and then he still wouldn't answer. Trump successfully handled himself. He didn't bring facts. He didn't get excessively petty for him. In other words, even within the realm of what Trump usually does, he didn't seem outside of the realm of not far outside of the realm of a regular debate, the way it gets insulting and shitty. There was a couple of little things here and there, but even for Trump, I don't know if he recognized early on, holy shit, I had this fucking thing in the bag. I sent a message and then I think I turned it into a thread because I don't tweet anymore. At the end, if Trump had wanted to solidify his victory, he didn't need the whole 2 minutes. Biden did his closing statement after a 2-minute commercial break. So he has a minute to gather himself, hopefully to take a fucking drink of water. Because if he wasn't allowed a glass of water up there, that's fucking cruel. After the 2-minute break, comes back, he's gathered all of his thoughts, and he seemed like he couldn't remember his closing statement. And whether it's the stutter has gotten worse and he's actually just as sharp, and it's just the cold that made it look bad, this is probably the only debate you'll get to see. Why would Trump, who now looks like he absolutely wrecked Joe Biden in a debate, actually show up to another debate? That's what he's going to be floating.
everybody, even the left, even the radical Democrats, they all agree that I beat them. I beat them so bad that they even had to admit that I would be a better president, and because I beat them so bad. Why would I do another one? I already proved there shouldn't even be a debate. I am the guy who it's funny because Trump, in watching it actually doesn't seem like Trump is aware he is winning. As far as perception goes. Again, when I say winning, I don't mean he came with great facts. He didn't. He didn't come with fucking great facts. He just said idiotic things and lied a whole bunch of times. If Biden had just met regular performance standards, he would have easily been able to win because Trump was so bad this time. And yet, because he was so confident, because so much stuff he just said, and it's not a fact check to just go, everything he just said was a lie. That's not a fact check. It takes more than that. That's an easy out fact check. Wrong. That's what Trump did in the Hillary thing. Wrong. Nope. Wrong. That's not fact checking. Look, here's the deal. And I don't have much more to say than this. Joe Biden, I had already felt when the primary was happening that there have been signs. I don't think he has dementia, by the way. I think people who jump to dementia are ridiculous. A lot of people, when they get older, slow down, they lose performance, they lose mental acuity, but it's not dementia. It's just a part of getting old. Your memory gets a little worse. In fact, if you look at psychoanalysts, or is that the right word for them, but actual mental health professionals who talk about like alarming symptoms of potential mental decline, nobody is essentially from that world actually alarmed by Biden. He's just getting old. Yeah, he's slowing down. The stutter might be getting worse, all of that sort of thing. Maybe that'll be different after tonight, because tonight was that bad. Maybe they'll prove it was just a cold. I don't know. But he doesn't have the type of platform coming up unless Trump agrees to do more debates, which I don't know why Trump would. At this point, everyone's going to tell him, you did it. You beat him so bad, you'll be able to get people to agree you don't need to do it again to win over the idiots. Because that's, again, the unsupported, the people who haven't decided are idiots. And if you're trying to get people to be enthusiastic for you, Biden, or bring back some of the progressive votes you're losing over Gaza, today it was like watching elder abuse. That's what that debate was. And so I already felt when the primaries happened, or were going to happen, that Biden should have either allowed a full contest or should have bowed out and basically gone, I said I was going to fix the country. I was going to undo what the Trump administration did. I did it. I kept my promises and I did it. That would have been fine, and let somebody else have the reins. I felt that it was selfish of him not to. In fact, anytime people have brought up one of the things I see both from Trump and Biden, if you look at Biden's history as a politician, Biden has a thing in common with Trump that I find detestable in both of them, and why I wish both of them weren't president. And that's a clear, not just desire, but feeling they should be president. There's very little humility in running as many times for president as Biden has, and then there's no humility in Trump. Not to say that they express it the same. Obviously, these aren't equal, and they're not even equally evil men. Do I think Biden is a lesser of two evils? Yes, but I'm not talking about a slight lesser. It's a much lesser of two evils. And I would have voted and will still vote for him if that's what is foisted upon me. Is that the right word? If that is what I have to do, I will. If in August we have the convention and he is the nominee, then I am voting for Biden. But holy shit, tonight has basically made it really hard to recover that enthusiasm, get people who are on the fence. And there's going to be so many people now who just see tonight. And I understand that somewhat what I'm saying right now might contribute to the following. But I try to only be the only thing I try to make sure I always am is honest. People are now going to just assume Trump is going to win. And that will cause it's not necessarily lack of voter enthusiasm, except for, I guess it is. it will reduce motility. It will reduce the number of people who actually go and vote. This was one of the worst. I mean, in my lifetime, it is the worst debate, presidential debate, from a primary or a general election debate of anybody, period. That's how bad it was. And again, the difference might just be the cold. If Biden could have said almost everything with the same energy and tone from the State of the Union, maybe it would have been passable. He still would have missed a ton of fact checking. He still would have appeared to obfuscate on a lot of the abortion issue. He still would have missed the opportunity to really hammer down on the things that matter the most. But he did get a few good jabs in, even with his voice as hoarse as ever. And were he able to not seem like he might die at the debate, that might have taken care of everything. There is no doubt that Joe Biden, on his worst day, is a better president than Donald Trump on his best day. That was what the word that was a Hillary Clinton slogan back in 2016. I don't know if people remember, but that is true. That's fucking true. But that isn't going to matter. Any person, I occasionally see people in the live chat who are saying like, yeah, but he's still better. You don't have to convince me. Convince the stupid people, because they do not evaluate based on facts. Convince the people who are going to make the difference about this election. And right now we have until August before he becomes the official nominee. If Biden is not as selfish as I think he is, he will drop and replace the ticket with a brand new ticket. It will not have Harris on it. Not at the top, not in the VP. She is extremely unlikable. Nobody really likes her. And you can call that whatever it is. You can even if it is truly, well, we can't reward that if it's because of racism and sexism. I don't know if that's what it is. It almost certainly is in part. Some of the people out there, that's the entire thing. But I don't know if that's the totality of it. She's deeply unlikable. Obviously, again, I'm a dirty leftist, so I'm far left of her. I don't find her to be an impressive... politically, she wouldn't excite me at all. But I would vote for her. I'd be more excited to vote for her than Biden, I suppose. I don't know, actually, if that's true. I assume right now almost anybody can outperform Biden because that's how bad tonight was. And it may be the thing that solidifies his loss. And if he isn't as selfish as I suspect he is, he will drop and they will draft somebody who is probably a political clone, honestly, of him. Maybe slightly left, maybe slightly more progressive than him. And unfortunately, if we are trying to appeal to stupid people, you need somebody who can scoop up the whole Biden vote as it is now and add people to it. And the number one way to do that, and I know if Matt and I go live tomorrow and we discuss this, he always gets annoyed when I bring this up, but I think it is true. They should get a hottie with a body who's I just wanted to say the phrase, who's charismatic and a good debater. I do not like the following person who I am going to suggest can beat Trump. But I don't suffer delusions that somebody who I like will be the nominee. It's simply impossible, I think. Look, if there's a short period of time where we're doing like a pre-mini primary again, I will definitely canvass or whatever it takes for a more progressive candidate. Okay? I definitely, not even more progressive, a more socialist candidate. Somebody as far left as I think even has a chance. However, if we're just going by the numbers, we're going by likability, we're going by charisma, and we're going by somebody who can beat Donald Trump, I'm not fond of the man. He's slimy in a lot of ways. And again, I'm not actually a Democrat. I'm far left of all that. But the answer is Gavin Newsom. Biden should drop and put in Gavin Newsom. If the main goal is a surefire defeat of Trump, first of all, Trump wouldn't be able to say, why would I do debates? I've already beat him. He hasn't beaten him. And if you've seen Newsom battle with the Florida asshole, that's his name, right? Florida asshole. fuck, what is his name? The asshole in Florida, Ron DeSantis. If you've seen him debate him, he's a very good debater. He's likable and he's hot. And as stupid as this country is, that all matters more than whether or not would actually make the best president. Over Trump, again, Newsom would be a better president than Trump. Newsom would also be a better president than Biden. He is a bit more progressive. He is a little bit further left. Again, as we're talking about an American left, which is the Democrats, the liberals, and the progressives in America are slightly right, at least slightly right wing on the actual worldwide political scale. In the UK, liberals are basically, they are on the right. Not what they necessarily call liberals, but our liberals are. But this is splitting hairs. It's still, yes, we're going to have a lesser of two evils thing. Yeah, I'm interested in, people are trying to, yeah, go ahead. As we wrap up, I'm not feeling grand, but as we wrap up, go ahead and tell me who you would draft. Jon Stewart is never going to run for president. And there's a few reasons. One, right now, if you become president of the United States without fundamentally changing it in a way that would cause economic collapse and, which, you know, if you were trying to continue a United States in its present form, which I think Jon Stewart would not try to upset, day one, you become the president of the United States, you basically become a war criminal. Our country sucks. Like, let's be real. But Jon Stewart also has more influence as a non-politician. It's why and I love Jon Stewart, but it's the same reason why people like Tucker Carlson don't really run. Sean Hannity's never really run, even though they would handily win many types of elections and have the support. They have way more influence. They make more money doing what they're doing. I don't see Jon Stewart running. Jared Polis, I think, would be a great president, but I think that it's too easy to beat a gay guy. From a queer man, just want to put that out there before I get banned. It's too easy to beat a gay guy. In Colorado, no. Sure, Colorado doesn't care, but that would be too easy. Let me see who else has thrown a name in there. Bernie enters from the shadows. If you were to replace Biden for what appears to be age-related loss of energy, and you replaced him with Bernie, people would basically, I don't know that would, obviously there's a lot of people who would be more enthusiastic to vote, but I don't know if it would offset how many people would feel like you just replaced one old guy with another old guy who are, we should have just done Bernie at the fucking start of the whole thing. Let's see. I'm trying to see if anybody else, more people agreeing about the Gavin Newsom, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson, I like plenty, but people need to stop suggesting non-expert celebrities. He is being an expert at one thing doesn't make you an expert at another thing. Elon Musk is currently negotiating essentially with Trump to get more access and have more political power if Trump should win. And that's a bad thing because Elon Musk, whatever he might be an expert in, and every year it seems to be that things we thought he was an expert in before, he maybe wasn't ever. At this point, he's still a pretty good coder in 2003. He could code a mean 2003 program. But that's bad. And so pilots should fly planes, and as dirty as a sounding sentence as this is, politicians should do politics. And Donald Trump shouldn't be there. Neither should Neil deGrasse Tyson be. Al Franken is not a good candidate because even though he was done dirty and that situation was mostly stupid, it will still smell like a giant fart. There's just too much of that. People hear a rumor and it's just committed to you forever. You can vote for me, Al Franken. Who's the best at golf? Yeah, let's get Tiger Woods in. If we learn anything from the debate, golf should matter. Oh, that's why they're called swing states. Oh, I don't think Joe Rogan would would run for the Democrats, or whoever said Joe Rogan. Yes, Kennedy would not be good. You would prefer Gretchen Whitmer over Gavin Newsom, but Gavin Newsom is, I think, more popular than Gretchen Whitmer is. I also think, as sad as it is, Trump hopes you would run a woman against him because he this time around, he's not coding most of his insults anymore. He's just being more overtly racist. And in that scenario, he'd be more overtly sexist. Harris is wildly unpopular. For the person who said, what about Harris? She is wildly unpopular. She doesn't play well. And she's honestly and some of that's probably Biden's fault. The way they've used her over the last 4 years is basically, I think we'll look back and go wow, Joe Biden, what a progressive, way less racist. Weird how he kind of tokenized his vice president, that usually her number one function was now if you could go to this event that's for black women and introduce Joe Biden, that would be great. But otherwise she doesn't have significant, when Joe Biden was Obama's vice president, had all these significant victories of basically being the between person in Congress and being almost like a vice presidential whip almost. And that's, yeah. No. Okay. There's some people, I almost wish I was taking calls. And we, like I said, we might go live tomorrow. I'm supposed to be on medical leave, but again, I feel like this fucking stuff matters. So if I feel well enough tomorrow, we probably will do that. But to the person who said Obama's first one was, what did you say? Obama was bad too. First debate was bad too. First debates were horrendous too. Nothing like what you just saw. Joe Biden, I'm surprised, didn't leave on a gurney. It's not even a matter of people who are wondering if he'll make it to the end of the 4 years, thereby leaving us. If he'll make it to 86, which is how old he would be when he leaves office. Otherwise, we will have President Harris. Looked at that debate and will go, make it to 86? I'm surprised he made it to 8 o'clock. That's how bad it was. I'm not talking it was bad if he had only been as bad as Obama's debates against Romney are the ones I think you're referring to, that first one especially, it would have still been yeah, but that's enough to justify another debate. This is, I think, the one and only debate. Michelle Obama, potentially, she is politically favored. I don't know if she could win, but she has said she never would. I think she really hated being even the first lady. Again, so y'all are naming some people like Laura Kelly, Democrat of Kansas, would be a great president. She's fine enough for a Democrat. Again, these are people who I'm far left of, but sure, fine enough. Not fine enough to run against Trump. And right now, if you're going to, in such short order, replace Biden, it has to be with somebody who basically already has the national recognition. And while his recognition isn't as wide as it could be, the fact of the matter is there's a reason why Gavin Newsom last year was doing debates against a Florida governor who was also potentially running for president. What Gavin Newsom is definitely who the DNC is planning on running in 2028. Could something happen between now and then? Sure, could be, but most likely, you can often call these things from far out. He's the next one they're thinking about anyway. Without having some upset of some, basically an Obama situation like 2008 happening. Again, not from who do I align with the most, who is the most ready to take the spot and successfully beat Trump. Now that said, with enough time, I think almost anybody could beat Trump. He sucks. And unfortunately, we ran the only guy who could potentially lose to him. That was kind of what it was before. These are the only two who could lose to each other. If we were doing Nikki Haley versus Biden doesn't beat Nikki Haley. Don't suffer any delusions that he does and that the country has gotten better. If this was Nikki Haley, with the exception of if it would have had to have been because Trump chose not to run or the cholesterol caught up to him. But in that scenario, if he doesn't sink her chances in a head-to-head, Biden couldn't beat a lot of them. So I don't have anybody. I think whoever keeps saying Whoopi Goldberg is joking. Somebody keeps saying that they think I'm wrong. So Johnny, go either share your point, what you think I'm wrong about, or what your perspective is. You are forgetting about incumbent advantage. Oh man, call in tomorrow. I don't want to insult you because presumably I otherwise agree with a lot. We probably agree with a lot that you're here. That is a dumb argument. You are forgetting about the incumbent advantage like Trump had 4 years ago when Biden had higher favorability, when people actually wanted Biden over Trump, when they were still close in polling. And when it comes down to the actual swing states, Biden won by a lot when it comes to the popular vote by the swing states. I'm glad he won. It wasn't some locked up in the bag. And again, if you now go look at demographic polling and enthusiasm polling, as well as swing state polling, and I know people who say the pollings in the past were wrong. The presidential polling in the past, the general election ones were. However, 2022, not a presidential year, but as far as measurements go, was actually one of the most accurately polled in decades. People will go, but they said there would be a red wave and there never was, or whatever term they use, whatever it was, a red hurricane. No, political pundits said that. Matt Walsh said that. Idiots on the internet said that. The pollsters did not say that. And people who were actually unbiased analytics people never said that shit. They actually were pretty like, hey, this is going to be closer than it looks, and it's probably not going to be some massive swing. There is polling you actually can look at, and Biden is already losing a lot of his demographic advantages. He has taken huge hits in the Latino population, in the black population, especially amongst black men. It is basically right now, we would have to just beg black women to bail us out again, like they did last time, but in even more massive numbers, because that's who saved us last time. That's who turned Georgia, for example. Anybody's confidence that his incumbent advantage, when right now people's perception of the economy, even though the economy is stronger based on the metrics that have been used in the past to measure it, is stronger than many past presidents, and he definitely did a better job on the economy than Biden. Now, look, I find the way they measure a lot of these things really stupid and almost condescending, because it's like, right now, unemployment is so low because people have changed the kinds of jobs they're getting, because a lot of people have the option of a backup job like Uber, like DoorDash and that kind of thing. And I would rather have what percentage, let's see the employment numbers for employment of people who then have adequate health care as a result of their employment. Basically adequate benefits covered. They can take leave. They can afford give us those numbers and see how those change. But I digress. The economy isn't as good as it's wanting to be presented to us. But by the same metrics that Trump had to meet, yes, Biden is doing better than him. The whole thing is fucked. And again, the only thing Biden can do, if he isn't as selfish, as unfortunately I think he is drop and put somebody else in. And I think I have not yet seen a person put in a name that would be better, but I honestly think, unfortunately, Gavin Newsom is probably the only person who could quickly take the spot and it be pretty seamless and there not be a big disadvantage for how much time has gone by. He's also been acting as a Biden surrogate, for example. And then as far as the coming days go, we'll probably find out Trump's VP, which is either going to be Doug Burnham. I would say Doug Burnham is probably it, but it could be Marco Rubio. It won't matter. He has it in the bag. I like Hakeem Jeffries. I doubt he could do it. I don't think he has as much name recognition either, or a governing record, which right now running a governor against Trump is basically the only thing that you could do. Or not only thing, but it's the strongest thing you could do because it's a person with executive experience. But obviously he is the head of the minority leader. Sorry, I as I mentioned, I'm on medical leave right now. I wasn't planning to come back. I'm starting to lose steam and energy because unfortunately I'm not feeling well. Also, if I had known I was going on, I would have trimmed the beard because when I don't, you'll notice that the two sides grow a little faster than the center does. It starts to make me look a little demonic, like I got little horns coming out there. I usually wouldn't. Yeah, I'm scared, Jimmy. Good. That's the correct answer, is be scared. That is the correct answer. Wow, stop being so negative. Welcome to reality. Donald Trump has already been president once. Are you fucking crazy? Stop being so negative. Do you know how high the stakes are? And right now they were, before tonight, neck and neck with Trump having a slight advantage and all of those other things. It's negative to list off fucking polls and facts and problems. It's negative to call a duck because if you watch tonight's debate, there was an old, frail horse duck on the stage, and it was a fucking duck. I don't even know what to say to something as stupid as that. Did Joe ever respond? Joe, like I said, you can call tomorrow if you want to talk about it, or no, it was Johnny. The same polls are saying he's winning the elderly and rural vote. I find that hard to believe. You find it hard to believe that Trump is winning the rural, like the farm. I live in a rural town in Texas. You have a hard time believing that old people, the people who fall asleep with Fox News on, and I can't relate. No, excuse me. Okay. I'm only going to respond to a couple more and then I'm out of here. Jimmy, Trump lost the debate in that he kept spewing lies that no reasonable person believes. If that was the metric of who wins and loses, sure, I agree. Biden was closer to correct and factual on most things than not, and Trump descended from the truth, but it's what you said at the end, amongst most reasonable people. Most reasonable people have already decided and they weren't going to change their mind, whether it was Biden or Trump. Hopefully, most reasonable people have already picked Biden. Enthusiasm for Trump is high. Most people are not reasonable people. And again, it's not just about who you would prefer, because that's a different thing to win. Biden probably could still win the popular vote, but not the Electoral College. In those swing states, it's not about who you prefer. It's about who you physically go fucking vote for. Because if you prefer Biden and don't vote for him, it doesn't help at all. And enthusiasm for Biden was already plummeting, and now it's going way lower. Who was talking about Biden? Oh, the polls say that Biden is leading amongst old and rural, maybe specific groups within them, but I have a hard time believing that's what the polls say. But again, those rural is a less, when I'm referring to demographic polls, I don't know, I'd have to go look, but that's very surprising to hear that Biden is winning rural. And I knew that he was winning, I want to say elderly women, but not men. Let's see. I don't see any other question marks or anything. Yes, I agree. How we have such an issue getting people to vote is beyond me, and we absolutely should incentivize voting. We should make some element of it mandatory. I've advocated for making it mandatory that the state has a mandate to make sure that every single citizen is given a ballot. And so it solves voter ID laws and all that stuff, because if you put a barrier up, it's the state's responsibility to get over it. So if Aunt Lenny Mae requires a voter ID to vote, it's the state's responsibility to get a voter ID to her. And then you would have to incentivize and potentially penalize people who don't. It's no problem if you turn in an empty ballot. If you just return it, all that would be fine by me. You don't have to pick of the people, but every single person should be delivered a ballot and return one, whether they actually, I think that would solve so much. Everybody who wants to vote would vote. Everybody who don't wants to vote would still not vote. And we could do a national mail-in ballot. It would be fucking easy. All right, I think that's where I'm leaving it. So in summary, Joe Biden, worst performance of not just his debate history, the worst presidential political performance in a debate ever. It could very well because he was sick. However, it is now at a pivotal point in the election as people are deciding how much they care that Donald Trump is a convicted felon, as people are wondering how much they care that Joe Biden's son, unfortunately that matters to people. That's why Trump bothered to bring it up, how much they care about that and how much they feel like for everyone here who's like, yeah, but Trump's so bad on this and this and this, you are thinking the way I will think and vote for Biden if I have to. But again, we should get somebody else. That's how I'm going to decide how to vote too. The facts. That's not how most people are going to. And if Donald Trump had wanted to just solidify the win in the debate, all he had to say, I don't remember if I finished this thought earlier, after Joe Biden couldn't seem to remember his closing statements. They had a break. They came back. Biden went first. Trump didn't need to take the full 2 minutes. He could have just said, go back and watch Joe Biden give that closing statement again. Watch him fumble through it and watch him babble. And you tell me whether you think that he should be the leader of the free world. Basically, just on that alone, how bad Biden got a couple of good quips in and there were a couple of good spots. It does not overpower how bad and weak and sick Biden looked. And honestly, at this point, Trump would be stupid to agree to do another debate. Anyway, that's it. My thesis. He lost the debate and he lost the presidency tonight. I don't see a path to victory for him. He has to be replaced. I will still hope to overcome that if that's what happens in August, but I hope that we are hearing in the next week that they are figuring out some way to do a new mini primary, a fast-tracked express thing to put somebody else and make the official nominee at the convention in August somebody else. Biden 2028. Yeah. Yeah, that's what would be great. If Trump wins and then Biden runs against again in 2028, that's what would be excellent. At this point, like, I hope somebody in his orbit is willing to like try to appeal to that Joe Biden does have a certain type of ego and arrogance to him. Not as bad as Trump, but just try to appeal to like, listen, right now it looks like you're going to lose. And that, for better or worse, whether or not it was literally a cold and you're going to be great, no one's going to get past that. But here's the thing. If you drop and make it on your terms, it won't be as embarrassing when you lose to an actual fucking fascist. I don't know when I'll be back, potentially tomorrow on the line if I feel well enough. Otherwise, I'll be finishing out medical leave. It's probably going to be a little bit while longer. When I come back, I will be launching my new podcast. Jimmy Snow Has a Podcast is the name of that thing, and that will probably be the primary direction of content going forward. Sorry, everybody. I hope I didn't ruin your fucking day, but that debate fucking ruined mine, so I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. Also, to people from the Line's Patreon, patreon.com/calltheline, I will try to have one more of our Patreon podcast where I call a random person, random YouTuber, and quiz them on stuff. I will try to have at least one more before the month is over. It's been a rough couple of weeks, so I know that will only be 3 of the 4 that we try to do each month, but luckily the people over there are pretty cool. They're bearing with me. But just thought I'd throw that out in case somebody comes in and is like, how come he can do this but not the podcast? And to tell you the truth, this has wiped me the fuck out. So I love y'all, and potentially we'll see y'all tomorrow. Sorry that this sucked. Bye. I don't really have a closing screen. So here's like some of our merch. No, that's not right. Here's some of our merch from linemerch.com, LANEMERCH.com. These are a couple of designs we have up over there. This is a good closing screen. Goodbye.